Well, hello. So for the next few weeks, I'm going to work my way through Harville and Helen's new book, How to Talk with Anyone About Anything. Harville Hendricks and Helen LaKelly Hunt. And, for years, they and the 3,000 Imago therapists they've trained around the world have used the safe conversation process in the office. All right, it's been very successful and helped people to have a better relationship. And they say we want to expand that work by teaching safe conversations dialogue to a wider audience with the goal of connecting individuals, groups, and organizations across society and around the world. Yes, we are so enthusiastic about our methods that we have targeted the whole of humanity. So a pretty broad goal, and I'll explain that more, and they explain that more. But historically, the safe conversation process started in Helen's living room in 1977. All right? Harville says, one day we were having an intense conversation that became heated. During the fight, Helen shouted, "Stop." She then suggested, let's take turns. One of us talks and the other listens. Since this calmed us down noticeably, it seemed like a good idea. The calm we felt was instructive. From the first time we tried this approach, we noticed that our emotions took a backseat to our intellects. This is a phenomenon called regulating in psychology. Self-regulating or controlling your feelings in conversations is generally deemed to be a good thing, even a sign of maturity. So it was a shift from judgment to curiosity. And then he says we made two important discoveries. First, the problem behind tension and conflict is that everyone seems to object to difference. The problem behind tension and conflict is that everyone seems to object to difference. And secondly, the tension and conflict caused by our objection to difference produces polarization and disconnection. So I'm going to try to simplify some fairly complex ideas the authors are introducing here, but then they'll explicate as the book goes on. And hopefully I'm doing them justice. But number one, for example, differences are the defining feature of nature. There's no sameness in the universe, only similarity. So difference is a given. Number two, many, they would say, and I would add most or all, problems are created by objection to difference. So think about it. Partners in an unconscious relationship, for example, tend to expect their partner to behave, and think like they do. But we see the objection to difference in a wider field, do we not? Think of black, white, male, female, left, right, abortion, climate change, immigration. Just a few examples where people object to difference. Now, then they shift a bit and they look at our culture, and as he says, and I think I agree, in our culture we're encouraged to be the best in sports, school, get the leading part of the play, whatever, which obviously is not all bad, but they go on, in our drive to be the best, we can become assertive in expressing our thoughts and opinions, expecting others to think like us and agree with us. All right? So they're saying difference is a given. Problems are objection to difference. In our culture, we're taught or encouraged to be the best, and sometimes that doesn't allow us to look at the other side of the problem. And so they go on to say that communication from proponents of number 2 and 3 tends to be one-sided, as if only their views have merit. And they call that monologue. When we speak in monologues, we tend to trigger disagreement and conflict rather than agreement and cooperation, because we speak as though only our views are true. We are not open to other ideas or opinions. All right, so then another piece of the puzzle, we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. basic human needs: to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. And these needs are fulfilled when people communicate in a dialogue, which features an exchange of views rather than a one-sided monologue. By communicating only through monologues, you may survive, but you cannot thrive, and neither can humanity. So again, we all want to be seen, heard, and valued, and they're saying primarily that comes about through dialogue, where we can see two sides of the picture. The absence of dialogue results in the conflict and polarization we are experiencing in our culture and around the world today, and I don't think you have to look very far to see that. So they're saying that our Safe Conversations dialogue addresses the current phenomenon of personal and systemic polarization by offering a new way to talk without criticism, to listen without judgment, and to connect beyond our differences. This type of communication allows everyone to be seen, heard, and valued, fulfilling those needs we all share. So the purpose of the book is to promote a dialogue rather than monologue. And they conclude by saying we have a choice: to polarize around difference, or to use the tension of difference to generate enormous creativity. So again, the Safe Conversation, I've used it for 30 years, 35 years. It has proven to be life-changing in the office for thousands of couples over the last 40 years. With this book, How to Talk with Anyone About Anything, they are making their approach, which has been so successful in the office, available to a larger audience by offering guidance on how to improve relationships in all areas of your life. They say this skill will help you create safety so you can connect and have conversations without feeling like you're lighting a fuse. We will provide ways to feel safe even during serious disagreements. So they end this introduction with this comment. The Safe Conversation dialogue has the potential to transform our culture focused on individual achievement, with one that focuses on relationship and encourages collaboration, cooperation, and interdependency. When we can work and live together despite our differences, we'll be on a path to a new relational civilization that values universal freedom, full equality for everyone, the celebration of difference, and total inclusiveness. Our goal is to create a better world where we shift from conflict to connection, from winning to creating win-wins. A world where we put relationships first. We want to usher in a new global relational civilization, and I invite you to embrace Safe Conversations dialogue and share it with others. So it's a pretty comprehensive goal. Would you say? Would you not agree? To change our civilization, basically. Anyway, next week I'll take a look at chapter 1, where they look at the problem, and then next they'll look at the solution, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Have a good week. See you next week.